Hey guys, so I looked at your Cami assignments, and a lot of you guys did the whole document. You're gonna probably have to go back and do piece by piece, just because I really want you guys to not just go highlighter happy. I want it to be more useful. So I wanted to what I noticed, there's a lot of inconsistencies with our highlighting and whatnot. And make sure before you highlight, we need to read the slides. A lot of us, I noticed on our last essay, we need some more guidance on our introduction. And so I wish we could be together so I could give you some more guidance. Maybe I'll find some more practice for you and whatnot. But real quick, the introduction is the opening paragraph. You identify the topic, you have the thesis. But really the biggest thing is that you really want to hook the reader in. It's more like will the reader continue reading after they read your first introduction? Now, like I said in the past, the introduction is probably the hardest part to write. For me, not everyone has that problem. We're all different writers and whatnot. And so just because it's I don't know what I want to say. So I usually write a rough draft and then I go further and keep writing, and then I always go back and kind of change some things. So what we're looking at just in the introduction, not the whole document. Tomorrow, I'll talk about, actually today I can, in this video, talk about the body paragraphs, which you guys seem to do pretty well with. But the introduction, we're looking for the hook. Now, you can't just put a hook, like a question, which we don't do, or like a quote, and not explain it. So you can see in this is talking about the Civil War, which the Civil War is a turning point in American history that reshaped Americans' ideas about freedom because it brought a resolution to the question of slavery. So it's to me, this whole resolution to the question of slavery, it's how did they resolve slavery? That makes me kind of curious and whatnot. So I keep wanting to read. So I highlighted this, the hook. And then it goes on to explain the hook. You have to explain the hook. Prior to the Civil War, the issue of slavery divided Americans. Some were concerned that most African Americans people were kept as slaves. So that kind of is all. That's the explanation of the hook. So I would go even further because you have to explain your hook. You can't just put this in and be okay, where 55% of people are obese in America, and then just go into something else. It's you have to tell me what that statistic means or what that hook means. This also, some were concerned. That word sounds oh, I wonder what sum of people were they. Then I kind of highlighted this as the topic just because it kind of goes into about freedom. Seeing as the meaning of freedom is the title. So this would be the topic because it says these people could not enjoy the freedom that white Americans took for granted. Others felt the situation was not only right, but also vital to the economy. This division was at the heart of the Civil War. Its resolution forever altered what it meant to be an American. I really think if I had to pick one sentence from here, it would be this one where it says, its resolution forever altered what it means to be an American. So we have two sides. We have the side where Americans could not enjoy the freedom, or African Americans couldn't enjoy the freedom that white Americans took for granted. And then others, the opposite side is, others felt the situation was not only right, but it was vital to the economy. So we have two sides creating division in the Civil War, and then this is our kind of heart of our topic. It's resolution forever altered what it means to be an American. Many passages from the period explore these ideas of freedom. So this is kind of a transition sentence into your thesis. Now, thesis is really hard. I'm going to post a thesis kind of ed puzzle for you guys to look at. The introduction contains the main idea of the thesis. The thesis is super important. All it does is really it's a roadmap to your essay. So, for example, this says Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, a narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave by Frederick Douglass, are good examples. So obviously, that tells me as the reader that they are going to use the Gettysburg Address and the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass to inform the reader about how the resolution of forever altered what it means to be an American. So again, they told me what they're going to do. For you, if we were writing an argumentative essay on Laramie Project, you would say the Laramie Project explores many different ideas about social injustices. So you have to let me kind of, like, give me a roadmap of, like, wow, they're going to be exploring these two passages. Both pieces discuss American views on freedom before and during the Civil War, as well as the necessity for change. So both pieces, so again, we're going to use both pieces, discuss views on freedom before and during the war, as well as the necessity of change. So they're going to talk about, to me, the reader, I'm like, okay, so they're going to look at these two pieces of writing, and they're going to look at before, during, and during the war, and why there was a need for change. So that really kind of encompasses what's going to be said in the rest of the paper. I hope that kind of helps. So again, I'm going to review real quick. It's the Civil War, like the green up here is the hook. Again, you need to explain your hook. And then if I were to, like, kind of, I could take out some of this yellow, but it's really this, it's resolution forever altered what it means to be an American. That is really talking about the Civil War and what happened during the Civil War, and talking about the freedom. So, again, I also look at the topic or the title, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's probably going to be about the meaning of freedom. And then we have the thesis, which again, kind of the roadmap of our paper, and it's telling me what passages and what, like, we're going to use, what the person's going to explore, how they're going to, what information they're going to use to inform us, and then what they're going to discuss. They're going to discuss American views on freedom before and during the war, as well as the necessity for change. So it's kind of like the big three things you're going to mention. So they're going to mention views of freedom before the war, during the war, and the necessity of change. So that's your 3 body paragraphs right there. So again, in your thesis, what are you using to explore, to inform us, so your text, and then what 3 ideas are you going to explore? Again, like they said, American views on freedom before, during, and the necessity of change. So that's 3 things. So again, in your thesis, it's what 3 things are you going to talk about, and whatnot. And it could be in a list form, just how they did it. Like they said, you see how there's a comp, like 1, 2, 3. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit. I know I talked a lot, and it probably got confusing. I'm going to try to find some stuff on introduction writing for next week when you guys are writing your own. So now you have I'm going to go through and grade what you put in, and I would like you to fix yours to look like mine, just so you can have a exemplar instead of using yours if you got it not everything correct, and whatnot. So, all right, guys, wish I was in class with you. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye.